Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Somebody sent me this logo that they like. They're trying to make a t-shirt for a family member or friend. And it just didn't trace good. And he tried to redraw it. And I told him this would be very simple to draw. And I think it will be. He said it'd just be something like this. And if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So let's say there's 20 spikes through a half moon. So my way to do it, to start, this is where I'd start. I'd use the polygon tool, and I'm going to set it on 40 sides. And I'm going to draw a circle. Now this has 40 points. And what's so good about a polygon tool is that you take your shape tool, and I don't know that 40 is going to work, but we're going to try it, and just grab one of the shapes, and you can get as little, we might want to go, let's go back. Let's make it 50. Okay? That'll give you sharper points. Grab the shape tool and just grab one of them and go pretty far out. Okay? Now, we only need half that sun, but we're going to start with that. So I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. Let me move this out of the way. Now we need to take an ellipse I'm going to reduce this in size. Don't worry about, they'll only need half of it. We're going to take an ellipse. So I'm going to make sure that's in the center because I did move it. I'm going to take an ellipse and hit P. And I think my sun needs to still be a little bit smaller. And I'm going to hit P again. Of course, the P is way up in the, so I'm going to hold down the control button and try to get it about right there. Now here's where kind of the fun starts. Let's take this line and let's make it 8 points. Okay? And let's make it 6. And remember, there's no 6, so just type in 6. Now we're going to immediately go to Object and convert the outline to an object. And I'm going to left click, right click. I'm almost not recording my numbers. And then remember the 6-point part. And then we're just going to draw, maybe we'll put in an indexing line about there. And we're going to take the 2-point, and remember that he said it doesn't have to be this exact logo, but we're just going to go like from right there. I'm using the 2-point curve line. Well, we actually need to go right through the sun, so forget that. And I'm just trying to give him an idea. And then I'm going to give a little bit of a curve. Now we're going to take another line, and don't worry about the thickness right now. Then I'm going to do that. And then we're going to do another one that's going to go from about right there and kind of upwardly. Okay? Now, I'm just doing this off the cuff. So I'm going to grab all three of them with the pick tool, the shape tool, or the shift key, and I'm going to make all those 6 points. And I'm going to go to Object, convert the outline to an object, and I'm going to left click, right click, and there you have kind of a pattern. Now so now we can kind of adjust it. And I'm just trying to give him some ideas. He'll take more time. So let's put this sun up or this land up a little bit more, kind of do that. And I think that's about right. So now what we can do to make the sun, it's off the edge, but we're going to call that our edge in just a second. And let's see what our nudge factor set at. This thing is only 4 inches. We'll set our nudge factor on 5. And we're going to take the Smart Fill tool And we'll go ahead and use red. No, let's use green right now. And look what we did. We made the sun shape. Whoop. You'll find that you need to change. So there's kind of the sun shape. And then what we can do to get the separation, we can take let's take this indexing line. Well, no, let's use a regular line. 2-point line and just kind of like go right across here holding down the control button. Okay. Now we're going to basically take the virtual segment delete key and delete these parts of the sun we don't want. Don't worry about the inside parts. Like that right there, we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to take those lines away. Maybe this might not be perfect for him. It'll give him some ideas. Zoom in a little bit. We might want to take, and now if you remember, this is a object, so we can take the shape tool and put that down here. Kind of do that. Now let's take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in and move it down. Fill that in, move it down. I think we need to move a few more barbs out of the way. See, don't worry about the lines that are in the middle because we're not using them. Smart Fill tool and move it down. I think that looks pretty good. And the green might be throwing us off. So now let's just delete all this and just nudge this right back. And see, now what we can do, we can left click. I'm sorry, I almost didn't get the whole thing. And we can take our virtual segment delete key and delete these lines. Delete these lines so that it will all kind of blend together. So now if I can't imagine him wanting a green. So let's use a burnt orange. Well, you might want the green. Maybe the green is a good deal because it is for a landscaping. I hadn't thought about that. Maybe not that bright a green, but look at that. And then when you take away the outline, it'll look a lot better. Now, and then he can put any kind of taglines. We need to put the grass in yet, but I like this line right here. There's probably a symbol for that, but you can always use the artistic media tool, or I'll just show him how to do that real quick. Take a 2-point line. Let's just draw one and hold down the control button. Let's make it that 6. Well, let's make it 4 points. Then I'm going to go to object, break it, convert the outline to an object, left click, right click. And what's so good about this, I'm going to make it a hairline. And I'm going to take these nodes and bring them down. And if you were doing it for real, you might want to measure. And then fill that in with a green. You got the two things on both sides of the name. And then mirror that one. And voila, you've got that same process. Take away the outline. Now we still need to put the grass in there. Pretty easy. And I think what I like about the whole thing, I didn't realize that this has been cut off. So let's left click, no fill. Well, we don't have to, we can do that. We can leave it like that. No, let's do the whole thing. Select it all, left click, no fill, right click, outline. And we can put a stopping line through here for right now, 2-point line, and just kind of go through those nodes. We can get closer than that, get the shape tool, and go right there. I think we're close enough. And then delete this line. And we'll do it one more time before we fill in make the grass. Grass to me is easy. So what we can do is now, let's just say we had a name in there, but let's go ahead and smart fill it with the green again. And we're going to make this black. See? And we get that out. Once we get the grass in there, and you put the name, let's go back to the Smart Fill tool on that green, fill that in, and space them out. Now, this is black up here I didn't think about, so that'll even make it look better. Wow. That looks pretty much like it. You know, a little bit, I've got a little bit too much angle, but once you put the text in there, so now we need to put in the grass real quick if he wants grass. So I'm going to left click, no fill, right click, outline, and we're actually going to take one of these lines away. We don't want 2 lines. And we're going to bring this line up to where it's meeting those. We'll stretch it over. Now, to make grass, artistic media tool. Doesn't really matter which one you pick. I had something selected. Don't have anything selected when you're doing this. And just draw a little blade of grass, way too thick. So 0.01. And what we're going to do is actually take a curved line, take a 3-point curved line, and just put a little curve to it. Now when we grab the artistic media tool and touch it to that and change the size and make it thinner and mirror it upside down, you have to actually click off of it, go up to Object, break the artistic media apart, and get rid of that blade, and then we can mirror it up and down. And then you can take a lot of time or a little bit of time. What I'm going to do is left click, and I apologize that I've barely got the color on there. And this is where your artistic media, and the file I'm using, somebody used 1/2-inch lines. So much easier to see hairlines. And then let's kind of look at the grass. The grass is sporadic, not so much of a curve, more straight up and down, but we're going to put a little bit of curve to ours. I just did a video about this the other day. I'm going to make that a hairline. And Control D and make a duplicate. Maybe move it over, have it a little taller. Control D, you don't want them that uniform. You can actually have them blend together. Control D, maybe put this one up. And then you have to come off from the side. Control G to group, Control D to duplicate, mirror them, side to side, put grass here, grass there. It'll take some time because you want some of them a little taller, a little shorter. From here on, I'd hit the plus key and just mirror them. You could have them like that because we're going to weld some together. And I'm not going to do all the grasses. We might want to make some of them really tall so you can just stretch it out. I'm just going to do a few more, and we're going to call that good. Now, probably the smartest thing you can do is grab all these right now and weld them. See, that made the individual blades disappear. And then the easiest thing to do is take your virtual segment delete key and delete through here. And make sure you get them all. Because when we take this line away in just a second, there won't be anything there. So when we take this line away, see how they're all open? And I would, at this time, maybe clean it up a little bit, take away the parts. So what we're going to do, and if you remember, this is all green and this is all black. So we need to kind of figure that out. How are we going to do that? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this line and go here. And remember that the Smart Fill tool is basically making a new object. Okay? So if we take this in green and we nudge it down, green and nudge it down, green and nudge it down, green and nudge it down, and we've got everything we need, the green is going to stop the black from going. So now I think we can take away this line and take your black. Now over here it won't be because I don't have much grass, but get the black and cross our fingers that this is going to work. Well, it made everything black, even our ring. That's because we don't have a line there to stop it. How are we going to make this grass black? Well, what we're going to have to do is take that 2-point line. I guess I got rid of it. And once I said I didn't think about this much, it's late at night. So what we could do, oh, you know why? Okay, what I was doing wrong, I didn't put my green back. Now we should be able to put black. There we go. I knew it would have worked. And then take away, well, we don't have the black up there, but we can still put black in there. That looks pretty good. And then once you, so, you know, if you fill in your lawn care, well, let's just do it real quick. I'm going to pick a different font than this, or at least use something a little thicker and put it up in here. Let's go ahead and let's put these things out there. Go up to object. Whenever that happens, it's got to break the curve apart. So get rid of there's also 2 of them. And now let's put this up somewhere about in here. Let's get rid of our indexing line. Let's go ahead and put this here. Put this here. It's not equal, but I'm not terribly worried about it right now. You know what I'm going to do is delete that. I don't really need that. Whenever you can't grab something, it's really kind of irritating. There we go. Just try to grab it a little better. Let's just make these shorter. And to make them equal, you'll have to copy them over. So delete this one. I'm just going to make sure this will work for him. Plus key, mirror it. And if you hold down the control button, it'll go evenly across there. Take this font. That's irritating. Take that font and left click, right click. And this is where the magic's going to happen, or hopefully. We're going to take black now, fill that in, and use green for the other part. Now, the other part that needs to be black, we need to fill in right now. Now, the only thing we need to do, and don't forget, is to take away the outline because it'll make it look so much better. Now the green, we're going to get back to the green. And you could probably start it out with a green text, but you couldn't have filled in around it. So when you're doing, for the person that's doing this, just pick a thicker font. So, I mean, especially on a t-shirt. Now, take it all and right-click, no fill, no outline. Now, the difference between these two, let's group this together. And there's something right there. See, whenever your bounding box is bigger than your item, so let's go Control G. Let's put in a black box like you were going to print it on a black shirt. So you can't see the black of the, but that looks like the logo, with the exception that they did a little bit better job. But just, take some time on the grass. Their grass was fuzzy, but I like my wordage. Anyway, and their spikes are a little bit bigger, so we could have gone out further with a, when I started, I should have started with a really small circle and done the 50 points. And remember, this is back to see how many points there are? So we could have started out with a smaller circle and made our points sharper, and it would mimic more so this sun here, if you get my drift. So we got a smaller, that looks a lot better. It's actually a little bit too late now, but I would start off with a smaller sun because that's pretty close. All righty. Hope that helped him a little bit. Thank you for watching.